Hey guys, it's Mrs. Baum. I am just doing number 12 in the study guide, which is kind of like the monkey problem. So this is Jill in the veterinary hospital. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so Jill works at a veterinary hospital. She mixes the floor cleaner, blah, blah, blah. She's got the waiting room. She's got the surgery room. She's got bleach. She's got baking soda. In both cases, we're looking at percent to percent ratios. So we're first looking at the waiting room. This is important information. And in the waiting room, we've got a ratio of 30% bleach to 70% baking soda, which makes a whole of 100. So we want to know, what if we're scaling it down to using only 1 cup of baking soda? So I'm going to do the unit rate of bleach, how much bleach to how much baking soda, right? Because I want to know like price per can or bleach per baking soda. So I'm going to do 30 divided by 70, which I know is going to give me some kind of crazy decimal. And this says use improper fractions or mixed numbers, no decimals. So 30 divided by 70 is going to leave me with 3/7. So that means when I'm using 1 cup of baking soda, I'm using 3/7 of a cup of bleach. So a total for this amount, my total cleaner, I'm going to add these together to get the whole, which is 137. Or sorry, 137. 1 and 3/7. Goodness. Okay. So now I'm going to come over here and now I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to find the unit rate if I'm talking about 1 cup of bleach. So I want to know how much baking soda per bleach. You guys know we divide it like we say it. So we're going to do 70 baking soda per bleach. 70 divided by 30. I could also do it like this, where I've got 1 bleach and I want to know how much baking soda. And over here, I could have done it like this, where I've got 1 baking soda and I want to know how much bleach. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide 70 by 30. And you guys know 30 goes into 70 2 times with 10 30ths left over, which I'm going to convert to 1/3. So 70 30ths, I converted this to 2 1/3. That means that if I'm going to make this mixture where I'm using 1 whole cup of bleach, I have to use 2 1/3 cups baking soda, which means my total cleaner is going to create this much cleaner. Okay, so now I need to know my 2 equations relating the amount of bleach and the amount of baking soda. So I want 2 different equations. So I'm going to do bleach equals how much for every baking soda. Then I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to do baking soda equals how much for each 1 unit of bleach. I have all of this information in my table. So right here, I've got 1 baking soda, right? So 1 baking soda right here. For every 1 baking soda, I have to use 3/7 of a cup of bleach. So if I were to use 2 cups of baking soda, that would mean I'd need 2 3/7 of bleach, right? So I'd need 6/7 of bleach. Now over here, for every 1 cup of baking soda, it's going to take me, for every 1 cup of bleach, it's going to take me 2 1/3 cup of baking soda. Okay, so Jill already mixed 24 cups of bleach and 56 cups. Sorry guys, I got a little distracted while I was doing that last one. Let me re-explain that. So I've got I want to know for every 1 cup of bleach, how much baking soda, right? So here's my 1 cup of bleach. Every time I do 1 cup of bleach, I'm adding 2 1/3 cup of baking soda. So if I did 2 cups of bleach, I've had 4 2/3 cups of baking soda. So that's why this goes here. For every 1 bleach, I've got 2 1/3 baking soda. Hopefully that helped with that one. All right, now here, Jill already mixed 24 cups of bleach and 56 cups of baking soda. She finds out the waiting room's already been cleaned, so now she needs to worry about the surgery room. I can't take baking soda out, kind of like we talked about with if you pour too much milk in your cereal bowl, you can't take the milk out, so you have to add more cereal. So she's not using this ratio. She's now talking about the surgery room. So the surgery room, when we're talking about bleach versus baking soda, surgery room requires 70% bleach, 30% baking soda, okay? She's already put in 56 cups of baking soda. So that's going to stay the same. But now she's going to need to increase her ratio so that she's got 70 parts of bleach to her 30 parts of baking soda. So now we're going to do what we're really super good at, which is cross multiplying, right? So I've got 70 times 56. And then I'm going to divide by that 30. Oh, goodness, I must have hit clear. 70 times 56. Oh, I did. Divided by 30. So I've got 130 in some kind of crazy decimal, but this said no decimals. This says use improper fractions. So I'm going to need to think about that's going to be 130. So I know that I've got this crazy decimal here, which actually would end up being 2/3. If I don't know for sure that it's 2/3, what I can do is I can go like this. I want to go from my decimal to my fraction. And so it'll do that 2/3 for me. Again, that was the decimal to fraction button. So if you do your dividing and you get a decimal, but the question asks for you to put it in fraction form, just convert. Okay, so how many more cups bleach should she add? This is how much she needs. She already has how much in there? She already has 24 in there. So what she's going to need to do is she's going to need to do 130 and 2/3, take away that 24 that she's already got. So 130 and 2/3 take away 24 is 106 and 2/3. So that's how much bleach she has to add. Okay, next question. Jill's original cleaner mixture contained 24 cups of bleach. By what percentage did the amount of bleach increase when she added more bleach to the cleaner? So remember, this is what I started with and then what I increased by, right? So I started with 24. I increased. I had to get to here, so I had to add this much. So 106 and 2/3. I want to know what percent that is. So I've already got my 106 and 2/3 in there. So I'm going to do 106 and 2/3 times 100 divided by 24, which tells me that it increased by 444.44%. That seems like a really big percent, but if you think about it, it got 4 times bigger, right? So we know if something got 2 times bigger, that's 200%. So even though this seems like a big, scary, crazy number, it's actually accurate because it reflects that we got more than 4 times greater. So hopefully that helped. Hopefully, if you need to go back and rewind and re-listen to a part, you will make that good decision for yourself. Just to give you, for surviving this video, just to give you a little bit of an idea of what you're going to need to be able to do on your test. You are going to need to be able to do all of these skills. Your test looks very similar. I'm not going to show it to you because I don't want you to see what the amounts are to be able to do that. But your test looks very, very, very similar, right? So here, look, here's your study guide. Here's your test. Here's your study guide. Very, 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 very similar. So if you made it through this and you're like, okay, yep, I get it, cool. If you didn't, rewind it, rewatch it. I have a feeling some of us probably could still use to hear this one more time. So I'm going to do one last video about this. All right.